Welcome to Bed Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, T, and if true crime is your jam and like me, you enjoy delving into unsolved cases, trying to figure out who done it, please consider subscribing. Also, if you enjoy my videos, please hit that like button. Hi guys, hope you're all doing well wherever you are in this moment. Trigger warning, in this video I'm going to discuss a group of people who had access to an online site devoted to images of the SA of children. I'll be referring to this material as Child P. I'm not going to describe any specific acts or images, but I will be discussing the people who traded in this type of content, and it is a disturbing topic. Because so many people believe that 5-year-old Summer Wells may have been sold or given away to pay off a drug debt, I decided to share a story about something called Operation Delego. Operation Delego illustrates, for those of us who may not be fully aware of the dark world of Child P and the degree to which these monsters will go to feed their sick proclivities, I found out about Operation Delego from a person who left me a comment and shared an article about it. Now, for me personally, I am still sticking to Occam's razor when it comes to what I believe led to Summer Wells' disappearance. For me, the simplest answer is that an accident occurred due to Candace being high, drunk, and neglectful. I believe she told Don what happened, and he, because he's terrified of prison and of the law, convinced her that they had to hide the accident and Summer to avoid being charged and going to prison. To Don Wells, hiding Summer was a better solution than fessing up because he has zero faith in the law and never wanted to go back to prison. This is my opinion. I'm speculating. However, I know there are a lot of people who've taken in all that we know about Don Wells, all that we know about RSOs living in and around Beach Creek, and who've come up with an alternate theory in which Summer was either sold, given away, or abducted. Who would want a 5-year-old, blue-eyed, blonde-haired little girl? Clearly, a lot of people, right? Anyone who is childless and wanting a kiddo to love would have wanted Summer. Those are the nice people. But there's also that not-so-nice crowd, the one with people who are into Child P and Child SA. What I'm about to describe for you will make it clear that there is definitely a market for a 5-year-old little girl, and it will show the levels to which sickos will go to feed their addiction. Operation Delego is the name that was given to a major international law enforcement investigation that was launched in December of 2009 and continued until 2013, when the final 2 defendants were sentenced to prison. Operation Delego was part of Operation Predator, a nationwide HSI initiative to protect children from child predators. Ultimately, Operation Delego dismantled an international Child P ring that operated a private, invitation-only, members-only, internet-based site named Dreamboard. I hate that they use that term for this site, which was devoted to anything but happy dreams. Operation Delego is the largest Child P case in U.S. history. It was conducted by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, Homeland Security Investigations, HSI, the Child Exploitation Investigations Unit of ICE's Cyber Crime Center, the Child Exploitation and Obscenity Section, CEOS, of the U.S. Department of Justice's Criminal Division, CEOS's High Technology Investigative Unit, and 35 HSI offices in the United States and 11 HSI attaché offices in 13 countries around the world with assistance from numerous local and international law enforcement agencies across the United States and throughout the world. So we have Operation Delego, which is the name given to the investigation, and then the name Dreamboard, which is the name of the Child P online site. The purpose of Dreamboard was the advertisement and distribution of Child P. Dreamboard was hosted by Certified Hosting Solutions, a commercial web hosting company that was paid through a credit card associated with a Dreamboard member. Here's what the then U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder said about Dreamboard in 2011. The members of this criminal network shared a demented dream to create the preeminent online community for the promotion of child SA, but for the children they victimized, this was nothing short of a nightmare. This operation marks another important step forward in our work to protect children across and beyond this country. Our nation's fight to protect the rights, interests, and safety of children goes on, and it will continue to be a top priority of this Justice Department." End quote. The administrators of Dreamboard had specific requirements for those wanting to become members. Each wannabe member had to post Child P to be granted entree. In addition, once accepted into the club and to remain in good standing, Dreamboard members were required to continue posting new images on Dreamboard. Failure to upload new, fresh content meant one's membership would be revoked. The goal of Dreamboard was to create a massive, private, and ever-growing library of Child P available for viewing or download. Members used a variety of measures to conceal their criminal activity from detection by law enforcement. They communicated using aliases rather than their actual names. Content posted on the board was encrypted with a password shared only with other members. Members also employed proxy servers to route the group's internet traffic through other computers in an attempt to prevent LE from tracing their internet activity. And you couldn't just post any old Child P photos. The photos had to meet several criteria to be accepted by Dreamboard. Note that the rules and criteria to be a member of Dreamboard were printed in English, Russian, Japanese, and Spanish, which tells me that Dreamboard's members must have been from those countries, along with many more. The first rule is something that I can't even read verbatim to you because the language used is too crude and explicit. Basically, the rule said that images of women with large breasts and developed bodies were unacceptable, so no females that were mature. Rule 2 was that the images had to be of girls 13 years old or younger. The author also wrote this: "In fact, I really need to see 12 or younger to know that you are a brother." End quote. Rule 3. Don't avoid nudity in previews. I will not accept you if there's no nudity. End quote. And then the author of the rules made it clear what needs to be seen in the nudity, and it's concentrated on 2 areas below the belt, front and back. Note that whoever penned the rules didn't follow grammar rules, check his spelling, or edit the content. Just an observation. Take it how you will. Rule 4. If you haven't uploaded in 50 days and login doesn't work, reapply because you have been deleted. Rule 5. Uploaders remain. Talkers and lurkers who don't upload are deleted. End quote. Dreamboard offered members different levels of membership. The highest membership level was called Super Hardcore. For this section, members were expected to share images of very young kids. The children had to be shown in intimate acts, and they had to be seen in distress. The next level was Super VIP. This was for members who were producers of Child P. meaning they themselves were taking the images and videos and perhaps even engaging in the acts. If a member attained this level, he was considered a trusted member of the website. The two final levels of membership were VIP and then simply member. Those belonging to these two levels only had access to a restricted supply of images. When law enforcement finally busted this child P ring, a total of 72 people were charged in connection with Dreamboard. 500 more members were also targeted. To date, 55 of the 72 charged defendants have been arrested in the United States and abroad. 41 of these pled guilty. 25 of the 41 who pled guilty for their roles in the conspiracy were sentenced to prison and have received sentences ranging from between 15 years to life in prison. 15 of the 72 charged individuals remain at large and are known only by their online identities. There are still ongoing efforts to identify and apprehend those remaining 15 people. Arrests have occurred in the following countries: Canada, Denmark, Ecuador, France, Germany, Hungary, Kenya, the Netherlands, the Philippines, Qatar, Serbia, Sweden, Switzerland, and the United States. More than 16,000 DVDs were confiscated, in addition to other documents and computer equipment during the bust. Are you curious about the actual people behind Dreamboard? The men who were members of it and where they're from? Well, let me share a few names with you. One of the men arrested for participating in Dreamboard is a guy named Anthony Paul Souter from Middlesboro, Kentucky. This creep was arrested at a Kroger's gas station where he worked. He was charged with the prohibited use of electronic communications to procure a minor for SA or the distribution of child P. It turns out that Souter, which rhymes with chowder if you're wondering how it's spelled, it's Sowder, was first arrested in March of 2011 after unknowingly soliciting a police officer who was posing online as a minor. Souter was grooming who he thought was a child to get her to send him explicit images of herself. Souter himself was posing as an online 12-year-old girl to lure other teens into this activity. So Souter was doing the same thing that Kagan Klein was arrested for. Kagan's modus operandi was to pretend to be either a young girl or a young, handsome model that he named Anthony Shots. Same type of catfishing to get child P images. Souter got caught when the police communicated with him. Once they had him in custody, they discovered that he was also involved in Dreamboard. Souders used the screen name Chan Chedwick. I'm happy to report that Souter is currently in prison. Unfortunately, it looks like he may come up for parole in 2027. Another creep involved in Dreamboard is a guy named Timothy Lee Gentry of Burlington, Kentucky. On May 10th of 2011, Gentry was sentenced to 25 years in prison for his role in Dreamboard. Others convicted for participating in Dreamboard include Michael Biggs of Orlando, Florida, Michael Childs of Huntsville, Alabama, Charles Christian of Tilton, Illinois, Edward Oldewalt, Christopher Luke of Tonawanda, New York, Robert Cuff, Jonathan Mayer of Newport, Tennessee, Shane Micah Turner of Roy, Utah, David Ettlinger of Newton, Massachusetts, Christopher Blackford of Charleston, South Carolina, William Davis of Bristol, New Hampshire, and John Weiss, aka Bones, of Monroe, Wisconsin, who received a sentence of life in prison for his role in Dreamboard. Along with their prison sentences, most of these men face a lifetime of supervised release. Hopefully that will be adequate to keep them from doing this ever again. To report suspected child predators, and suspicious activity, you can call the HSI toll-free hotline at 1-866-347-2423. There's also an online tip form on the ice.gov website. I'm sorry that today's video fare was so heavy. It's something that's hard to look at and digest, but I think it's important to be aware of how these things work and the dangers that are lurking out there, and that a 5-year-old blue-eyed, blonde-haired girl would be of interest to these types of creeps. Until the next time on Bed Crime Stories. Now do me a favor, hit that like button, leave me a comment, subscribe if you're not yet subscribed, and now if you want to support my channel, you can do so in the comments.